Hi there, I'm 2Chains, and I'm going to be conducting a user review for a Warlock. He's running HLS and he's playing against Roguelike Holy Paladin. So HLS strives off its constant CC on the healer and the DPS. The Warlock's job in this comp is to just steadily control as much as possible, steadily spamming out fears. If anything is off the ER, you should just be trying to put them in a fear. While doing this, you really just need to keep both the Rogue and the Lock dotted. As for kill targets go, it should be the Warlock. The Holy Paladin should be CC'd almost all game, while the Rogue has two vanishes, he has Cloak, he has many ways to just prevent damage, so the best kill target would be to go on the Warlock. In the beginning of the game, since it is a Rogue, you really just need to try to prevent the opener. You need to play very defensive, you need to Shadow Fear the DPS, you need to lock the Warlock, and you just need to get the fears rolling. So at this point, let's go ahead and get started. So against any rogue team, you really just need to try to get in combat right after getting the gateway. So once you get the gateway, you should just mount up and just try to get in combat. You see that they're over there, so you have an idea that the rogue is probably around this area. Your hunter does a very good job of flaring out, and he's able to get the rogue. Once the rogue steps into the flare, you should just be instantly dotting him right now, getting that combat and just pushing in. Instead, you decide to line, which is not the best idea. Instead of just going up here and dotting the Warlock, you jump down to try to dot the Rogue to prevent the stealth. Once you see that he gets stealth, you should really just port up and just try to dot the Warlock. You really need to get in combat to prevent the sap on you and to prevent the sap on your healer. At this point, you should be trying to dot the pet, instead you get sapped. So at this point of being sapped and seeing the rogue is most likely going to open on the hunter, you need to move your pet up here so that once the Warlock starts to cast, you can just lock him out. So as you can see, the Pally is pushing in, which is very good for you. That makes him very viable to get full feared. So once you get out of the sap, I really liked how you Shadow Fury the rogue and just feared him. That's a great job. So at this point, you really just want to start pushing in for the fear on the Paladin. As you can see, the Warlock just popped his demon, so at this point you really just need to try to fear him as much as possible and to counterspell him. So you see here that the Paladin is pushing in, however you wasted your Howl. If you would have held that Howl for another like 2 or 3 seconds, you would have been able to get all 3 of them and would have been able to demon soul very cleanly. The Paladin would not be able to dispel any of your dots or heal any of the targets. So at this point, you go for the fear on the Paladin when they're swapping to your Shaman, which is very risky because as you can see, they're popping cooldowns. However, you did get a trinket from the Paladin, which is very good. You go back to killing the pet, which isn't that important at this point. You really just need to be trying to control the DPS. You need to be CSing this Warlock. As you can see, you have CS up. You really need to stop these casts from the Warlock. Since you were not able to do so, they were able to grab Sphere Link Totem from your Shaman. So as you can see, the Rogue is not on any fear DR right now, and he's controlling the Hunter very well. So you really need to just control your DPS a little bit better. You need to, as long as you can stop the Rogue from kidney shotting your Hunter, from gouging him, from dancing into cheap shots, you allow your team a lot more pressure. And at this point you have no fear DRs. You really need to work on just fearing targets, because in this comp as HLS, you strive off control. I see that you go on the fear on the Pally now, which is a great job, and just continue to go on the Warlock. However, you really need to be dotting the Rogue too. If the Rogue is not dotted, he can go around a pillar and just line and get a re-stealth. After the re-stealth, he's able to come cheap shot you and garrote you. So you need to try to keep him in combat at all times. You see the Warlock casting the Summoner Observer, which is a great job that you stopped it right there and just continue to go on him. At this point, you could fear the Warlock again because you know he's near the gateway, so you know he's going to be wanting to gate. So at this point, you should just be fearing the Warlock over and over and not allowing him to have control to gateway. You see the Rogue is here, you do finally put the dots on him, which is a good job, and you go for the fear on him. As you can see, the Rogue has Trinket and he's undead, so he has Will. So you know, you're almost 100% sure that he's either going to Trinket or Will. And as he does, he wills. So you really need to try to go for a re-fear. And at this point, you see that the Paladin is fully, just very viable for a fear. He is not on any fear DR, and the Warlock's at half health. So you really should try to get a fear on the Paladin here, and instead you just decide to turn around and just take the gateway over to the Warlock. This is not the best idea, because if you were granted that fear right there, you would just almost instantly just win the game right there. Him not having a trinket or bubble to get out of the fear is very important. I see that you Shadow Fury the Warlock again to stop the Summon Observer and feared him. That's a perfect job. There's nothing you could do better there. The Warlock unbounds your UA and almost kills himself, and you just redot him and drain soul, and that's perfect. And this grants you the kill. I am overall happy with your gameplay. I just really would like you to try to get more fears out. Being an Affliction Warlock, damage is not as important as control. If you can control the DPS so that your Hunter can hit 100k Chimera shots, it's a lot more important than you just dotting them. So in general, I really think you should be working on getting more fears, keeping both targets dotted, and just overall awareness. Knowing where the healer is at all times is very important as an Affliction Warlock, because getting those spheres on the healer grants your team the most pressure possible. And that'll be it for this user review. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'll gladly answer any of them, and that's it.